Alright guys, today we are going to be reacting to why did so many German officers have scars. Mensur? This is very interesting. I reacted to the last video about this and I thought that some of the scars were obviously self-inflicted, but that's not the case. Let's jump in and see what's going on.
Mensur, or German academic fencing, is why so many German officers and the elite wore scars on their faces in the 19th and 20th centuries.
Oh, wow.
These scars were badges of honor and worn with pride, though not always on the face of honorable men. They were the mark of having belonged to a Mensur organization, usually reserved for the upper class, and or those with a university education, where a student could join a Mensur fraternity or corporation.
Oh no, for God's sake, Mark, have you any decency left? I've been named for life. Just bigger.
And oh yeah, when you see it in like a full speed, it's not a game.
Be quiet!
Academic fencing in 19th and 20th century Germany and some neighboring countries like Austria was much different than it is today. They did not use the same swords or equipment fencers use in modern times. German students used Mensurschläge, or sometimes just called Schläge, designed specifically for the sport. These swords varied regionally, but were designed to cut, in a similar way to a razor. The duels were known as Mensuren and somewhat ritualized. Some protective clothing could be worn, such as padding on the arm, and some protection for the eyes and nose. The duels involved attempting to strike the opponent on the head or face, and the duel typically ended once blood was drawn.
Ooh.
You bully you!
I don't know about this, folks. This looks like a very gentleman kind of sport, but dangerously, very dangerous, I would say. Wow.
These duels were not so much about winning or striking a blow, but showing courage and the ability to take a hit. A duelist in such a match was just as proud to bravely take a cut to the face as they were to give one.
Wow.
Mensur was not a typical duel. There wasn't necessarily a winner or a loser, just opportunities to display one's character. Unlike in fencing, the participants didn't move back or forth. In fact, dodging or evading wasn't allowed.
I was gonna say it's part of the family fencing, but there's no movement. So you're there to just get the hit.
And could end the match with dishonor. The participants were to stand their ground and remain at arm's length until the match is over, which was overseen by a referee and often a doctor.
Damn.
These scars, called a smite or Schmiss in German, were so valued some even felt they elevated a man enough to show they were good husband material. Figures such as statesman Otto von Bismarck stated the scars to be a sign of bravery and believed a man's courage could be judged by the number of scars on their cheeks.
I was gonna say, but it looks like the more you're getting hit, the more you're willing to just be less afraid of things that were unknown. Because it looks like you went through battle. You see what I'm saying? Dang.
Universities were where the sport was refined. In the 16th century, students were allowed to carry swords to and from school in some German provinces to protect themselves. Naturally, this led to many duels. This could and did lead to fatalities. Regulated duels in the 17th century were introduced to help reduce these fatalities. Refereed duels became safer and popular, and duels slowly evolved into a sport. This sport further exploded in popularity during peacetime in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, with military officers looking to prove themselves.
Pish to you!
Oh.
Dueling was outlawed by the Nazi Party in the 1930s. Hitler had less an issue with Mensur than he did with student corporations that represented the old aristocratic class, which he despised. Despite this, they still took place in secret. This was a sport that was so popular for a time. Students who were unable to join fraternities sometimes gave themselves scars with a razor. After the war, it remained prohibited by occupation.
Wow, look at that. So you're not moving, basically. So you know you're getting hit, which make the person much of a brave person, because you know you're getting hit. You cannot move. Like fencing is, you know, back and forward, right? However, Mensur is like you're getting hit. Wow.
Occupied Allied forces for a time, as it was considered to have a military association.
Okay.
The sport returned in the early 1950s and is still practiced today, with significant improvements to safety, greatly decreasing the chance of any scars.
I'm glad that that's the case.
All right, I'm Johnny. Thanks for watching till the end. Remember to wear your nose armor, take care, and we'll see you in the next one.
I'm glad, man. It's things like that, you have to protect them. You have to protect these kind of cultures because, you know, you don't know. How can I say this? I know it sounds kind of crazy, folks, but hear me out. Mensur is part of the German heritage in the area of the martial arts. Like the bread and the beer, Mensur is just that. I would like to know if the people still practicing Mensur. Let me see. You know, I always assume that they just depicted German officer in movie as having scar because it makes him look more like the bad guy. But they didn't always explain why they have them in real life. Yeah, I think that Mensur explained it. It does explain it because at that point, it's more like, okay, it makes sense. They used to plaster this for just create a little bit more bravery, have more bravery. Because knowing that you're gonna get cut is crazy. It's crazy. One of my friends got a fencing scar at the university in the UK in the early 2000s. We decided to recreate the fish slapping dance from Monty Python as a duel. I got a cut on the face from a dorsal fin. Still, he can legitimately claim to the girl the pole that he's doing his car. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I guess so, right? Ironically, to the stereotypical bad guy Nazi scar, this sport was banned by the National Socialist Party. Yeah, that's interesting. That's very interesting, by the way. Very interesting. Mensur, but that one is very interesting because it's just like this. That you're not moving to the side. You just take the hit. A little correction, a Mensur usually doesn't end with first blood. It ends either after a certain number of blows or a cut is deemed dangerous by the doctor on site. This is called adver. It is typically happen when two cuts are crossed, a cheek is pierced, or a piece of skin is severed, like it happened to me for instance. However, the rules vary regionally. Good point. Good point. Good point. Very interesting. Very interesting. Well, let me know what you guys think. Some of you guys are still practicing Mensur? I would love to know that. And if you're still practicing, how big of a sport is that in Germany? I would like to know. In the meantime, guys, I will see you in the next one. I'm out. Peace.